Imagine staring down a line of heavily armed tactical police in an empty field, and your only defense is the smartphone in your hand, while broadcasting live to thousands of people. That was the reality for Bharat Bhushan Tiwari, a 28-year-old student and social worker in Bihar. To his local community, he was a vocal advocate who spent his time fighting for marginalized families displaced by severe river erosion and flooding. On June 17th, Tiwari was shot and killed by state police in what authorities labeled an encounter. Except, because Tiwari live-streamed his final moments on Facebook, the official story collided immediately with raw video evidence. The resulting fallout paralyzed the region. Protesters shut down major highways, several officers were quickly suspended, and the crisis escalated all the way to the Supreme Court of India. This single digital broadcast cracked open a deadly vacuum of accountability, threatening to expose how state police forces operate when they think no one is watching. To understand the clash, we have to look at the official record maintained by the Bhojpur Police and the state's Special Task Force. The sequence begins on June 16th, exactly one day before the fatal shooting. The local administration suddenly declared Tiwari mentally unstable, asserting they needed him in custody. The very next morning, the police dispatched a heavily armed Special Task Force unit to Tiwari's village. According to the official police report, the joint security team arrived and found Tiwari actively firing an illegal weapon into the air. The record states that officers repeatedly ordered him to surrender. Instead, they claim Tiwari escalated the situation by firing 8 to 10 rounds directly at the approaching security personnel. Facing active gunfire, the police maintain they were forced to return fire strictly in self-defense, striking Tiwari in the lower body and causing fatal injuries. On paper, this creates a textbook, legally unassailable justification. A suspect fired upon officers, and the officers used lethal force to protect themselves. But that written record directly contradicts the digital reality captured on Tiwari's Facebook livestream, recorded minutes before he died. In the footage, Tiwari is standing on a rural road between open fields. He's speaking calmly to his 160,000 followers, explaining that the local administration has finally agreed to meet his demands regarding the flood victims. He then fires a single final shot into the air and clearly tells his audience he is ready to give himself up to the authorities. To signal his complete surrender, Tiwari physically tosses his pistol away, throwing it into the dirt field and entirely disarming himself as tactical officers approach. Eyewitness accounts, backed by the context of the livestream, state that Tiwari was completely unarmed and attempting to surrender peacefully when he was shot multiple times at extremely close range. The video evidence destroys the state's claim of a sudden, chaotic shootout. It transforms a routine self-defense report into documentation of a premeditated execution. Once that video went public, the region erupted. Tiwari's family immediately accused the local police of orchestrating a calculated assassination to silence his persistent criticism of local government corruption. Hundreds of angry villagers carried Tiwari's body onto the Ara-Buxar four-lane highway, completely blocking traffic for hours and demanding the immediate arrest of the officers involved. The raw footage stripped away the usual political cover. Prominent state leaders and opposition figures had to step in front of microphones, openly condemning the state police's operational tactics. Forced into rapid damage control, the Bihar state administration announced an independent judicial inquiry led by a retired high court judge and suspended 6 police personnel, including the local station house officer. A digitally backed public uprising successfully forced transparency onto a local police apparatus accustomed to operating with total impunity. But the implications stretch far beyond Bilauti village. Tiwari's death highlights the growing systemic reliance on encounter culture across India. When law enforcement officers utilize extrajudicial killings instead of making arrests, they bypass the entire judicial framework, acting simultaneously as the judge, the jury, and the executioner. The stakes have now reached the highest levels. A public interest litigation is sitting before the Supreme Court, demanding a court-monitored CBI probe to ensure the state cannot interfere with evidence. When a local government has the power to draft its own reality, a citizen's livestream might be the only tool left to enforce the rule of law.